This is the WP Week podcast, powered by Profile Press and WP Job Openings. A major WordPress security release dominated the week, while questions around themes, plugin growth, and new ways of working with AI added plenty more to the conversation. Profile Press lets you sell subscriptions, digital downloads, courses, and restrict content with Stripe and PayPal integrations. And WP Job Openings is the easiest way to set up a professional career page and start accepting applications in just minutes. Beyond the week's biggest headlines, there were new community initiatives, product updates, and some surprisingly creative ways people are putting WordPress to work. We start off with WordPress 7.0.2, which has been released to address two serious security vulnerabilities. It addresses a high-severity SQL injection flaw affecting WordPress 6.8 and later, and a critical pre-authentication remote code execution vulnerability affecting WordPress 6.9 and later. The two vulnerabilities could be chained together, allowing unauthenticated attackers to execute code on a standard WordPress installation without plugins or other preconditions. Adam Hughes of AssetNote and Searchlight Cyber discovered the RCE vulnerability and later shared details about the exploit chain, dubbed WP2 shell. Patchstack CEO Oliver Sild said his team was tracking more than 1,200 unique IP addresses involved in the mass exploitation of the vulnerability. Because of the severity of the situation, WordPress.org pushed forced updates through its auto-update system. Cloudflare, GoDaddy, and InstaWP also deployed additional protections, with InstaWP releasing a tool to help site owners check for signs of compromise. Matt Mullenweg described the pre-authentication RCE as a rare type of vulnerability in WordPress's history and highlighted the cooperation between different organizations during the response. The security response was the biggest WordPress story of the week, but the project also saw several other changes. WordPress.org has reduced the Protect the Shire initiative's cooldown period from 24 hours to 6 hours. Konstantin Obenland announced the change on Slack as an initial step, with further reductions being explored through Gandalf. The WordPress admin is also set for some changes in the next major release. WordPress 7.1 will make navigation more consistent across the admin. The post and site editors will show a persistent toolbar by default. The site icon will be replaced as a back button by a dedicated chevron, and the site icon will appear in the toolbar. The update will also change how plugins with toolbar nodes may behave in the site editor. Another WordPress 7.1 proposal would bring color management directly into the block editor. Juanfra Aldesoro is exploring controls that would let users create, edit, and remove custom colors, as well as modify theme colors, without leaving the editing workflow. Feedback is currently being sought on the proposed approach. Some proposed changes are also focused on the WordCamp experience. A Camp Tixodon could connect side event registrations with confirmed WordCamp tickets, allowing attendees to register for capacity-limited events such as Contributor Day and Social Dinner. This ensures that only people with confirmed main event tickets can register. The add-on has been built and tested, but has not yet been merged. From WordCamp events, we move to another major part of the WordPress ecosystem, e-commerce. WooCommerce 11.0 is scheduled for July 28. The release will bring performance improvements for larger stores, faster product and checkout processing, more flexible customer account and email workflows, improved analytics and reporting, and new developer hooks for phone validation and formatting. The experimental product editor beta is also being retired, while work continues on features such as abandoned checkout recovery. Security issues continue beyond WordPress core as well. Austin Ginder discovered a critical flaw in Sandy WP while auditing the platform with Claude Code. With the owner's permission, he found that a shared secret could be used to forge login and file system tokens across sandboxes. The issue was later confirmed and fixed. WordFence Intelligence also reported 267 vulnerabilities across 222 plugins and 6 WordPress themes between July 6th and July 12th, 2026. For a change of pace, Automatic has launched a WordPress TV app for Apple TV. The native tvOS app brings thousands of free talks, tutorials, and WordCamp session recordings to the platform, giving users another way to browse and watch the WordPress.tv catalog. Now, let's look at some of the business and ecosystem conversations taking place around it. Vinnie Green is looking to sell freewp.com and its branding to help pay off debt, including tax obligations, after ending the experiment. Meanwhile, Pavel Chirici's investigation is raising questions about the WordPress.org popular themes list. Based on 2 years of data, Chirici points to a recurring group of themes gaining active installs much faster than their download numbers would suggest, moving up and down the rankings together, and showing gaps between WordPress.org's install counts and independent measurements. He also points to shared analytics data across several theme websites and says the numbers were reset in May 2026 before rising again. The discussion around themes is accompanied by another look at the health of the plugin market. Jungalea says the boom in WordPress plugin installs may be over. After analyzing 7 years of data from established plugins, he said install growth slowed from double digits in the early 2020s to single digits before flattening out, with the past year turning slightly negative. Downloads have remained broadly flat at around 5.5 million per day. Over the past 3 years, about a third of the plugins he tracks grew their install base, 40% remained flat, and more than a fifth declined. Another analysis looks at the wider e-commerce market. Using May 2026 HTTP archive data, GravityKit found that WooCommerce is the most widely detected e-commerce platform across the measurable web, with Shopify in second place. Among the top 1 million websites, however, Shopify leads WooCommerce. Shopify is also the only major platform in the analysis to record year-over-year growth at scale. We also have new data on the tools agencies install on client websites. Based on 80,000 managed WordPress sites, WP Umbrella found Yoast leading the list, followed by Elementor and WordFence, with Advanced Custom Fields Pro also ranking highly. The data also highlights the continued use of Classic Editor, a preference for ACF Pro over secure custom fields, the dominance of paid tools in several categories, and the absence of Divi. Elementor itself has faced criticism after a widget appeared on websites without permission from site owners. Ryan Logan questioned why the widget had appeared on client sites and raised concerns about what appeared to be an affiliate link to PatchStack. Paul Charlton of WP Tits reported a similar issue. Elementor responded by saying the widget would be removed in the next version and apologized for the incident. The community is also being asked for feedback on the products and technologies people use. Commerce Gurus has launched its first community survey to learn how customers build and run WooCommerce stores, which tools they use, and which features and future directions they want prioritized. The survey is open until August 14. The first State of PHP 2026 survey is also open. The PHP Foundation and Storm are asking developers about how they use PHP, the tools and frameworks they rely on, their challenges, and the future they see for the language. The results will be published later this year. Not all community discussions are about software itself. Nat Miletic is asking what goes into maintenance retainers, including which services keep clients paying long-term. Examples include plugin updates, security monitoring, content edits, performance optimization, and ongoing support. Rodolfo Malogli has proposed WooCommerce Days as a new format for local WooCommerce communities. The idea would turn existing local groups into annual in-person events for developers, agencies, freelancers, and merchants, while reducing the pressure on organizers to run monthly meetups. The community is also helping shape upcoming WordCamp content. Brian Cords is seeking input ahead of his WordCamp US 2026 talk on block themes, agency workflows, and AI-assisted site building. He is asking people who build and maintain client websites to share their experiences, with responses potentially used anonymously in the presentation. WordCamp US is also introducing the Made on WordPress marketplace. The curated section of the sponsor hall will feature merchants, makers, and small businesses that run on WordPress. Sponsors can nominate clients, while local merchants and creators can also be invited directly. Participating merchants will receive a complimentary event ticket. Beyond the formal community initiatives, people are also experimenting with creative new ways to use WordPress. Jamie Marsland has built Gog, a Canva-like page builder for WordPress. The MVP lets users edit pages directly on the front end with freeform layouts that can be dragged, resized, rotated, and snapped to guides. It publishes real Gutenberg blocks, works with block themes and theme.json, and converts layouts into CSS Grid for responsive pages with zero JavaScript. Marsland is considering releasing it on the plugin repository. Robbie McCulloch has built a Mario-inspired side-scroller with Beaver Builder AI. The game was built locally and pushed to an AI lab using Beaver Builder's MCP server, and players can now try to beat the high score. Daniel Iser has also turned WordPress plugin development into a game with install clicker. Players ship plugin versions, handle support tickets, and eventually sell to private equity. In its first week, players from 51 countries shipped 2,722 versions, survived 4,444 support tickets, and spent 45 hours clicking Write Code. For people looking to connect with other members of the community, the WP World has added a Friends feature. Users can now send and accept friend requests, create private lists of connections, and see mutual friends who could help make introductions. The developer tooling landscape is also expanding beyond WordPress itself. GoDaddy has launched a platform for managing the full domain lifecycle. Developers can search for, register, configure, and manage domains through terminals, coding assistants, and AI chat experiences. Pantheon has added ElasticPress to its dashboard through a partnership with Fueled. The integration gives customers access to scalable Elasticsearch infrastructure and lays the groundwork for semantic search, AI-generated answers, and search integrations across WordPress, Drupal, and Next.js. AI is also moving directly into the WordPress dashboard. Novamira Chat allows users to describe changes in plain language, review what the agent plans to do, and approve the changes before they are applied. Fluent Support 2.3.0 allows compatible AI agents to securely read and manage support tickets through a new MCP server within the permissions of the connected WordPress user. The update also adds support for Gemini and Anthropic, new workflow conditions for FluentCart and easy digital downloads, and WP CLI migration tools for Zendesk and Help Scout. FluentCart 1.5.4 adds native Bricks blocks, improved AI search, and more reliable PayPal subscriptions. It also adds cross-site campaign attribution and brings improvements to storefronts, reporting, dashboards, and overall stability. Gravity Forms has introduced an Abuse IPDB add-on that checks submissions against Abuse IPDB's database of reported IP addresses and can mark submissions as spam based on different parameters. For marketers and site owners running experiments, A/B Split Test 2.6.5 has added Custom Audiences feature. It allows users to create reusable visitor segments and compare how traffic from sources such as YouTube, ChatGPT, Reddit, Meta, and other referrers performs within the same experiment. There are also several updates for developers and site operators. WordPress Studio's latest update makes sites load 30 to 50% faster while using less memory. The Studio CLI can now be installed without external dependencies, and Claude Sonnet 5 is the default model for Studio Code. Radio Station 2.7.1 is available with a fix for an issue that caused inline footer styles to break. Wordify has introduced server cron and cron jobs through a new cron jobs tab in console. Users can run WordPress's scheduler on a server-side schedule instead of relying on visitor traffic, create custom cron jobs without SSH, and view and run queued tasks on demand. InMotion Hosting has launched InMotion Cloud, a fully managed private cloud service built on dedicated hardware. It is positioned as an alternative to AWS, Google Cloud, and VMware, with predictable pricing, senior engineer support, and migration services. Ross Morsali has launched Operator Kit, a collection of AI tools for operators. The current lineup includes a Help Scout CLI with PII redaction and Dash CLI for command line shortcuts, with larger projects in development. WordPress is also being used as the foundation for applications far beyond traditional websites. James Grierson has built a full cross-platform task app called EndyList on WordPress. The app handles accounts, authentication, data syncing, encryption, passkeys, and APIs through WordPress, with AI agents writing most of the code. The open source ecosystem is also getting a new news show. Bob Dunn and Robert Jacoby are launching Open Channels News, a 5 to 10 minute daily video show covering developments across open source projects, business topics, metrics, and trends. It launches on July 27 through YouTube and the Open Channels FM podcast network. Matt Zunert has announced the website Bottleneck Finder, which measures how individual resources affect milestones such as FCP, LCP, and H1, rendering time to help developers identify which requests to prioritize. There is also a new open-source CMS entering the conversation. Coranto is being built by Simucore in Ruby and is currently in pre-1.0 development. The project supports editorial workflows, portable content, plugins, themes, and self-hosted infrastructure, and has been described as a Ruby-powered alternative to WordPress. Automattic is hosting a fireside chat with Kiadi Trahan and Kelly Hoffman on art and technology, scheduled for July 22 at Automattic's NoHo space in New York. And Patience Nikesa has received the latest Yoast Care Fund Award for her contribution to the WordPress community. Now, let's take a look at some of the new projects entering the ecosystem. CartPilot is a new AI sales agent from WeDevs for WooCommerce and Shopify. Shoppers can use voice or text to find products, compare options, ask questions, and add products directly to their cart. CrocoBuilder is an upcoming AI-native front-end builder from CrocoBlock. It is designed to provide atomic DOM output, unified CSS control, and AI-generated components while preserving access to the underlying code. And 11x Image Alt Manager helps users identify images missing alt text and add descriptions from the dashboard. It also offers AI-powered alt text generation with customizable tones and context, alongside filtering, statistics, and accessibility monitoring. That wraps up this week's Roundup, packed with releases, milestones, new tools, and plenty of movement across the ecosystem. Thanks for listening to the WP Week podcast, sponsored by Profile Press and WP Job Openings. We'll catch you next week with more stories from the world of WordPress.